Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. It's time now to review newspaper headlines from across the country. And of course, we're going to start with the newspaper of record this day on Saturday.
This day on Saturday, we'll take it from top to bottom. The window story, surprisingly, is political. Usually it will be business-oriented. But of course, this is also big. 2027, the kicker says, supporters push for Obi Kwakwanso presidential ticket. That's what the window story of this day is saying. Obi Kwakwanso. You recall in 2023 that there was something like that people were banded, Obi Kwakwanso or Kwakwanso Obi.
Yes.
Which one can work. But you remember when we had a discussion last week, we said that this could be one of the proposals that will be on ground. But then if you have an Obi Kwakwanso ticket, what happens to the Atiku factor? What happens to the chaps in ADC? Except of course you are saying that it's on the ticket of ADC that Obi Kwakwanso will run, and then all the other guys in ADC will queue behind them. Yeah,
you know what? And Peter Obi Kwakwanso presidential ticket makes me as excited as a glass of lukewarm water in the morning. It's at least you're getting hydrated, but is it, I would prefer ice. I think when we're speaking about this move towards the 2027 presidential elections, I keep getting confused by this organization of the opposition, which seems to be so very disorganized. I think they should have learned from the APC when the APC was in opposition. Maybe they should have perhaps paid attention there to learn how to do opposition work.
They do not have a Tinubu in their camp operate.
It does not seem so. It does not seem that anyone is willing.
Because it is Bola Ahmed Tinubu who could play the opposition game, right? And then he gets into power. He's still holding on to power and then bringing opposition back. So when people say that, why are the opposition members, trooping to the APC? And I say to them, don't blame the president, blame the opposition guys, because he was once in opposition. How come he was not able to be pulled easily by Obasanjo, by Jonathan, not to talk of Yar'Adua. So for me, we'll see how that goes. Yes. Before last week, we will have said that at least they had two states. Abia and Kano. But of course, with what has happened with Governor Yusuf, even Kwakwanso is not holding any state anymore. But we can't write him off, given his strength in Kano. A few other stories. The strip under that window story, 2,000 young doctors stranded yearly as housemanship slots fall short. MDCN tells Senate. That story is on page 6.
I think
today's newspaper.
For me, this is the most important story on our newspaper, because we have been talking about health outcomes in Nigeria. We've been talking about the fact that there are not enough medical doctors for to go with the citizens in Nigeria. We've been talking about that ratio, the ratio that we have that is absolutely abhorrent. We've been talking about the failure of our medical system, our health institutions. Now we're being told that no fewer than 2,000 newly qualified medical doctors in Nigeria are left without housemanship placement.
That's a shame, isn't it?
Due to limited capacity. Is it a shame, or are we where are we toiling towards?
I'm saying that this is what the Ministry of Health should take a deep look into and ensure, because if they are stranded and we are struggling to get them fixed, what about those who are living en masse even after housemanship?
Yes,
jackpine, as they say, on a daily basis. Do we even know how many of these 2,000 yearly that will stay after completing their housemanship? We don't know. We've got no idea.
It's honestly, so it says they can absorb 4,000, 2,000 will be left out of the system. Is this disorganized nature by which we go about everything, just reacting after the fact? Because
disorganized by nature.
It is, because at the point in time where you know that there'll be 6,000 medical students graduating and you do not have enough positions, what does that mean in a country that's underserved medically? It makes it's so hard for me to fathom.
That's why I said that the ministry has to do a lot more than all those fine find things that they dish out.
Cutting ribbons, we love
a
ribbon. We love
ribbon cutting, but,
we love ribbon cutting. But this is actually,
I hope that this will look like an
matters.
emergency that they can deal with from this year, because it's such an important story. Our country needs all these guys, and we need them to stay in Nigeria, and therefore we need to create the enabling environment for them to get their housemanship slot, on a yearly basis. This is not looking good. Let's hope that there are two of them, isn't it? Ministers of Health, Ali Pate and the other person.
Yes,
we can't remember. We can't remember his
Ali Pate, yes, Ali Pate, this is not his first time steering our health policy.
I would imagine.
Yes.
But let's see how it goes. The story besides the first picture: fintechs deploy innovative products to lure bank customers. I mean, we will expect that that's what will happen.
Yes, one particular fintech, Bamboo. Bamboo, the investment platform run by young Nigerian millennials, Osama Omorogbe and Richard, I forget Richard's last name, but they were just awarded by the Nigerian Stock Exchange for bringing the most retail customers onto the Nigerian Stock Exchange in the past year. And I think this is the second time that they've won it. When we're thinking about innovation and young people doing things that are successful in ways that the established companies did not see coming, I think it's one of those things that gives you hope about Nigeria. If we have young people continue to innovate in these terrains, and as they say, bring new innovative products to the bank customers. I think it's that's
a major area that that Nigeria can continue to get its wins, so that we don't think that every young Nigeria of today, wants to be a content creator. No, I mean that
or a politician.
People are doing so well in fintech, and we should do everything possible to encourage them.
Yes,
in terms of studies, in terms of opportunities. The lead story itself we discussed, a lot earlier in the program. Outrage grows over Senate's move to reverse Nigeria's democracy. Over Senate's move to reverse Nigeria's democracy. That's
a very weighty.
That's a loaded headline there. And the riders, you are playing with fire for refusing real-time result upload, Ezekwesili tells lawmakers. And then Rulak, others say bill's rejection may lead to electoral chaos. It's sad that we couldn't get Senator Victor Ume to join us to come and, make further clarifications. I know that he's been speaking in the media, since this thing, blown up. But, we can't stop talking about it. Every Nigerian is interested in what is going on and the position that the Senate has taken.
Yes.
How will it affect the elections, the general elections of next year? People are saying, no, our votes must count. And in any case, they shouldn't make it look as if the ruling party is afraid. Because if you've got 29 governors on your side with one still, one leg in, almost 30. So people are saying, does it therefore look like it is not about the governors at the end of the day, that it is about the people, who will vote, and therefore don't make it difficult for them. Let their votes count. Let Nigerians, come out, and choose their leaders willingly.
Well, very interestingly enough, I believe this Senate president didn't win his primary when he originally went through. So they might have fears for elections that have nothing to do with the presidency. They too will be running
about their own too, isn't it?
They too will be running for a re-election. When we think about the failure of the Senate to entrench transparency and accountability, reducing punitive measures to try and stop those who are entering our system and corrupting it at different levels, whether it's vote buying, whether it's ballot snatching, whether, all these things are serious crimes. And I don't think our Senate really understands the severity of it, or maybe they don't understand the severity of it to the Nigerian people. Because one thing that this brings into question is also the fact that we have senators coming outside saying, oh, maybe it's being misunderstood, maybe it's being misrepresented. Don't give us a voice vote. You have the buttons on your desk. Press them. Use them. Let's have your name against who voted for what. Let's know who's voting for what. We're too far ahead to be too far back. As they say, it's a reversal of democracy, but it's also a reversal of everything that makes us kind of, it's in a world where we have AI, we're having voice votes that are happening behind closed doors. It does not make sense for us and for our democracy. It does not make sense.
Like this. Not only be like this.
And this is coming after all the hullabaloo, all the misinformation, disinformation, confusion, what was gazetted and what was not about the tax bills. The Nigerian Senate needs to understand that all eyes are on them. Absolutely. As they go into conference.
Absolutely.
As they go back and tell us what is going to be gazetted. Is this section 63 going to be there or not? You know, what is going to be agreed upon when they meet with the committees coming from the members from the House of Representatives? What is going to be signed by the president? Is it going to be signed in due time because of all the delays, because of the Senate? The Nigerian Senate needs to understand that all eyes are on them. And again, we keep having this conversation. It is very important you don't trample over people too much. It's very important that people do not feel that you are disempowering them in an environment that they already feel disempowered. All eyes are on the Senate and the leadership.
On the Senate and on the Senate President. I'm not sure if the Senate President has granted a one-on-one interview since it became the Senate
I'm available
President.
for him to speak with.
because a few people might say we can understand the President, because he's the President. But then we see that the Vice President grants interview. So what is the Senate President doing? Because there must be clarity, there must be accountability, and I hope that is up to it. It should at least prove us wrong, and come out, to clarify some of these things. Not where he's sitting, in the Senate there, but come to the media and speak, freely to the people.
Definitely.
We can't leave the cover of this day without going to Oshiomhole, and there's a story on page 7 of today's newspaper, and it says Oshiomhole, Trump's recognition of Mrs. Tinubu diplomatic win. Trump's recognition of Mrs. Tinubu diplomatic win for Nigeria. I mean, well, at least he acknowledges the fact that what happened in America, at the breakfast meeting was not AI, isn't it? It was real. It was real. And it's a big deal, for our First Lady, and for Nigeria, and for the President.
There are a lot of jokes flying around this table today. A lot of jokes about our comrade
I read on social media, a big name in the Nigerian media says that, that he was shocked to the bones that, what Oshiomhole used to represent, as, labor leader, who will speak through to power, who will be out there, saying, sensible things, that he will go to Aso Rock just to go and greet the president that, we salute the fact that President Trump, spoke highly of the First Lady. And the gentleman in question felt so disappointed, that Oshiomhole would descend to that. And I'm like, why is he disappointed that he's telling the president, is greeting the president that Trump is speaking highly of the First Lady? Is he not disappointed that we are seeing caressing, that some people are calling massaging?
I do think it's disappointing, and I think it's disappointing
that he went to the president to say
he recognized the senator and
that's a diplomatic win.
He recognized Caitlin Collins last week and told her to smile. Is that a win? We need to be serious, because we're also talking about Trump here. With Trump, a lot of things just happen off the cuff. He sees someone, he makes comments, a lot of times does not seem carefully thought out or planned out. Recognition, what does that recognition mean for people on the ground? As you said, in Kwara State today.
Are you not aware that when you are in the eye of the storm, you look for deflections? Because AI is speaking back now. AI is saying that, hey, you are saying that I'm AI. I've got receipts, and that there are videos. We don't know how true this is. But I will understand why deflection to go to Aso Rock and be talking about diplomatic wins will be important rather than talking about AI.
I want to talk about a real win because of the picture here. The picture here is a well-deserved honor to global oil and gas industry guru. And we have the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Senator Heineken Lokobori, presenting Energy Industry Leadership Award to the chairman of Walter Smith Group, Mr. Abdulrazak Isa OFR. That is definitely a well-deserved honor. Walter Smith has been doing a lot in the Nigerian oil and gas industry, particularly over the last 5 to 7 years.
That's a good one. Very quickly, if we go to The Nation, it turns out that it is not just Oshiobaba that is The Nation, that is speaking about the reframing, the diplomatic wins that that Trump, talking about.
So I think we should go to the Tribune. It does not seem that we have.
We have The Nation on cover already. So, but we can,
Okay.
All right. So the story I was referring to actually came from, my former boss, Barrister Jimoh Ibrahim, who hailed the First Lady's role in reframing Nigeria's image abroad. That story is on page 25 of today's The Nation. And the writer says Tinubu's recognition by Trump diplomatic win for Nigeria, says Oshomole. So the same story. But of course, that Jimoh Ibrahim is also an ambassador designate now. Yes. He will be leaving the Senate to go, on an ambassadorial position. So if he's speaking about reframing image and things like that, it's probably more qualified now than Oshomole to be talking about things like that, because those are the things that he'll be defending. That he'll be ensuring that Nigeria looks good outside. We don't know where he'll be posted, but of course I have an idea of how big
I like to find out off the record. Let's go
is.
quickly to the Saturday Tribune, because the main story there is incredibly important. We killed forest rangers in Oyo because they arrested 3 Fulani herders, according to the suspect. He says his share of ransom was 10,000 naira, and the rest of that story is on page 3. Now we're hearing this. We've been talking about the terror networks, how these people operate. It's honestly very frightening, the cheapening of Nigerian life, hearing the ransom share at 10,000. We've seen some of what has happened here, but also I think it's very incredibly important that we talk about the dimensions of terrorism coming to the Southwest.
Absolutely. I mean, that's such an important thing to do. I hope that the authorities are listening and look at it. It is said there that just about 10,000 or something like that, went to the, so this is the issue, We should go beyond just the known areas. Kwara is burning. Oyo State is, vulnerable. Ondo State has had a hit in the past. So, I mean, these are the things that, the authorities must take a good look at.
Yes, but at least troops raided kidnappers' hideouts in Edo State and arrested 13 suspects. So
that's a good one.
Yes.
All right, and before we call it wraps on the show, here is an important safety notice. 10,000 professional drivers are set to benefit from a Lagos State government health and safety program aimed at improving driver fitness and road safety across the state. The initiative, led by the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Transport and Logistics, Hassan Adekoya, will run from February 9th to 12th, 2026 at selected locations in Lagos. The program will provide free medical consultations, eye screenings, corrective lenses, and substance abuse awareness as part of the state government's drive to ensure that drivers operating from parks, depot, and seaports are physically fit, mentally alert, and visually capable of using Lagos roads safely. All right, and that brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thank you for watching, and do stay safe. I'm Steve Ayorinde.
I'm Adesa Giwa-Sagi, and from my entire team here in Lagos, Nigeria, enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day. Goodbye.